proudly presents the Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us. Brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. Go to KingofAmazon.com when you do your shopping for Amazon to help the King of Podcasts. Shop for Amazon at KingofAmazon.com.
Before I get started talking about wrestling tonight, which, by the way, this is what you're here for, the Wrestling is Real podcast, King of Podcasts here with you. I know that everybody was really upset last week over the decisions that WWE had to make, ended up making. They didn't have to make, yes, but they did make nevertheless. That really did piss some people off, and we talked all about it. And I tried to go and, really lay out the case as to how everything happened, how people could have really handled things. So I want to say it like this. Overall, we should have never had, as a world, as a country, overall, the fact that we had a pandemic like this, did what actually happened have to rise to the level of a pandemic to the point where the United States had to lock itself down, and that everything that we do ourselves, which is our normal lives, that we all have to go through, in some cases, 30, 45 days sitting at home, and some still have another, another 15, 20, 30, 40 days left to go ahead and sit out and wait for this to kind of like get things back up, and only to gradually get things back up. Did we really have to get here? Because that's really what it comes down to. Because right now I'm pissed off. I am frustrated because we're at this point. We never even had to get here. But again, let's just say the people that work in Washington, D.C., and the people that actually run, any kind of government, for the most part, my politics are independent. I don't trust anybody. I have a real big degree of cynicism with everything and everybody. So to expect anybody to be able to handle this situation like it needed to be handled with a little more forethought. Look, there are people that are looking to go ahead and lock people down and really create a change of a new normal. When the truth is, we never really had to get there in the first place. And the bottom line is that a lot of companies and a lot of corporations and a lot of business owners and a lot of people, for that matter, that, we always talk about save for a rainy day. Well, there's a lot of companies that don't do that. And God bless you, all of you that also work paycheck to paycheck. And I've done that before. And I'll tell you what, I don't do that anymore. Because I know there's a point where things can get tough. And you got to be able to ready to for whatever. I mean, it's just what it is. It's the way of life. And I would recommend everybody, please find a way to save money. Put away for retirement. Put away for your kids. Put away for your future. And do what you got to do. In some cases, don't even try to work for what you love. If you can do what you love and you can live and you can make a good living off of it, then by all means do it. But if you're not looking to do that, you could do things that are not going to make the money that you're going to want to make, and you love to do it, then don't do it. Do something that will actually help you support what you want to love to do. That's how it has to work. And so when I look at all this, I'm saying to myself, man, we should have never had to get here. And some companies could not handle it. Now, I'm going to say this for Vince McMahon and for WWE. He already knew he was going to take a loss for the XFL just getting it started, but no one ever thought that locking things down, he would suffer. And he is. He suffered because he did try to make a very heroic, not heroic, but it was a very bold move to try to restart the XFL. I give him a lot of credit, and I thought the way it was being put together was actually pretty well done. I really did like it, and I thought it had a real chance to grow. So he's going to take a hit for that. Okay. And as for WWE, you have to ask yourself, the stockholders, the broadcast partners, there's a lot of the people that probably made the decisions as a board of directors, as the shareholders. he had no choice but to do. Do you think that Vince McMahon could have ultimately controlled the situation better? Yes. But did he really have the ultimate say? Maybe not. Because you got to ask yourself, with all this said and done, this wasn't a good situation for anybody. Yeah, a lot of people did lose their jobs. But that goes with every different sector. Look at the movie theaters. Look at entertainment right now. There's a lot of people that are not working right now. The people that are behind the scenes that work, they don't have a job. I am grateful I have a job right now that I can still do. I'm just losing some of the income I normally would have had. But then again, that extra income I'm not getting, but because I'm not going out of the house at all, except for like once a week, I am saving a little bit. But it still comes down to saying to everybody, there were going to be people that will be hurt and people are going to be affected by this. And it happened. And that was going to happen regardless if it's wrestling or not. And the most important thing is the fact that we got into this. And now that we're in this, how ridiculous it's going to be to see everybody try to get themselves out of this. Whether it's your governor or whether it's federal government or whoever else is underneath, mayors, councilmen, aldermen, all these different civic legislative bodies that are going to have to handle being given the task of reopening the economy, reopening cities, reopening counties, reopening states, getting things back to normal. And the fact we still got to go wear masks and practice social distancing as we gradually get back to normal. Now, there are people out there of my podcast brethren, namely the Wrestling Observer guys. Okay. Those guys, they believe all the doom and gloom that's on TV. And let me tell you something. I have said it on my Broadcasters podcast. Please do not listen to what the media is telling you. I have done YouTube videos about this. Do not listen to what the media is saying. They are in it for the money. And they don't care about you or your livelihood. They might act like that. And the celebrities that you watch doing all these living room concerts and talking to people on FaceTime and, doing Instagrams and getting on Facebook Live. Listen, they don't give a shit about you either. They're only playing nice to you and patronizing to you because they are being told, listen, go talk to these people, your fans. Act nice to them. Act like you're just like them when you're not all glammed up and when you're not on TV. Do all of that. We're supposed to accept a quarantine lifestyle. We're supposed to accept, we can't get a haircut. A woman can't get their hair done or their face made up, right? The Don't Rush Challenge, all this bullshit going on. Everybody doing quirky, fun home videos because we can't do anything else. We can't leave the damn house because there's no place to go. Now, you can come back to me and tell me, but look at the cases, look at the numbers, look at the hospitals. Yeah, that's because everything's being pointed out like as such. It's all out of context. It's all being situated. You see certain channels that put the cases up there, hundreds of thousands of cases. Do you know how many of them have recovered? How about putting the death toll up there? If you're going to be that sinister and that evil and pathetic and thoughtless, then put the death tolls up there if you're going to do that, okay? Do that. All right? For me, we didn't have to go to this point. I think things could have been handled much better if there were some adults in the room. And it trickled all the way down to wrestling last week. Now, yes, social distancing. No public crowds right now. Yeah, I get that part, and I don't mind so much of that at the moment. Those are the things I think are important. I was like, yeah, you know what? If we can't make sure everybody that's being tested, we don't know who's got it and who doesn't. Yeah, I think that's important. Okay. But then everything else that's going on, because we can't trust anybody to go out and just live their lives and make sure to just be smart. We can't expect that because nobody's going to do it, right? I got it. And so here we are. And I'm saying to myself, this is such bullshit. I hate it. I hate all of this. It's pathetic. It's not what I wanted. I mean, I know, listen, and I shouldn't feel bad about the fact that, and the thing is, I'm not suffering at all. I mean, I'm so grateful. So grateful I can still keep doing my content. The truth is, I have made the most of my time in quarantine. I have pumped out so much content. I have done so many projects to keep myself ahead. I'm working on my websites. I'm working on my own projects that I haven't had time to do. Like, for me, that's the way I'm looking at it. Is I'm giving this time where basically everything else is in a pause while I get a chance to get things situated. And then I can't knock. Can't say anything much bad about that. Debauchery, that takes a backseat. That's unfortunate. But I don't feel so bad about that. Restaurants, I don't feel so bad about that either. Movies, I do feel bad about that, but I don't feel horrible about it. And so I'm just saying to myself, you know, it's not been fun to do all this, to go through all this. But we're here. And what else can we do? Because we have idiots. And there are certain people that are not adults in the room that are thinking with common sense. And let me tell you, man, if more people had common sense, don't think I'm the ultimate, like, I know end all be all. No, of course not. But I like to think that people panic under pressure. Don't handle pressure well. Don't handle being in a situation you have to make an ultimate decision. Because number one, we have to worry about people being idiots out there and not handling themselves, being accountable and responsible for themselves. You know? Not taking better care of themselves. We don't talk about that at all, but you know what? Do you see many people that were not in good shape health-wise, that contracted, got infected, and ultimately they're not here? It's unfortunate. But I don't hear anybody talking about, you know what? Save your money for rainy day. Get yourself in better shape. Make yourself better. No, I don't hear anything about that. Just say, we're in this together. We're in this together. Bullshit. Don't get me. Fuck you with your living room concerts. Fuck you with your bullshit. Everybody, you know, confining at home, watching all these different late night talk shows and all the Today Show and all these different shows doing their stuff, sounding bad, looking bad, and doing what they're going to do just to make everything look bad. Listen, for that alone, I appreciate wrestling because it sounds good. It looks good. Still, we're not doing backyard wrestling, right? Because they don't. Even the Being the Elite, episode 200, and the match with the Young Bucks facing each other, that was well done. You could hear everything. It looked good, flashy, splashy. Well done. Good match, by the way. All of that was just done with gloss and flash and pizzazz. Every company's done that. The only difference we're seeing right now is no crowds. I get that part. But it could be worse. I mean, we could be seeing people doing stuff from their houses and this, that. No, that's just that's just the wrestlers, the talent just going on YouTube or not YouTube, but going on Instagram or going on TikTok or going on Twitter. And, you know, some of that stuff is actually pretty funny. I got to give some honorable mentions to the fact that I really enjoy Lana dancing on TikTok. She's a fucking great dancer, by the way. Almost forget that she did that. She actually is an accomplished dancer. She's really good. She's fun. I like her a lot. I mean, you know what? Regardless of what you think of the character, I think she's an awesome girl. Lana Perry. CJ Perry, excuse me. I think she's awesome. And again, she was one of the original girls that were the Cowgirls at the Florida State games. And she sounds like she's fun, man. So she's laid back. She's cool. Carmella, I must give credit to her there too. Dude, she's now doing the impressions of if you've been watching, go look for it. Carmella doing Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. Hilarious. She's just wearing different wigs and then doing the whole mannerisms and all and just lip syncing. And I'm like, that's funny shit. I'm laughing my ass off. She's getting herself over. I like this part. I actually really like all that. That's actually pretty fun. So I don't have a problem with that. I can appreciate that. But for me, I look at wrestling as a little more reasonable, a little more common sense. I can't say that for everybody else. Sports. They're doing NFL and Madden and horse tournaments and, oh my God, video games and lots of chatter about sports that are not happening. Come on. Late night shows are so pathetic. Like, think about it. Look at what we're all doing, man. When you see everybody on TV, and the network news is worse, and the national news is worse, and the cable news is even worse. But that's the whole point. We're looking at this, and it's like we can't just see ourselves doing what we normally do. And we can't, and also the damn commercials on TV. We have to get succumbed to all this. We're in it together. Contactless delivery. We've got all these new phrases and new terms, and every commercial has to be about, we're with you in these trying times. In these trying times. Fuck these trying times. I want to enjoy myself, man. I mean, okay, yeah, the damn country and the world's been locked down for a while, and some of it's starting to open back up, and I'm glad to see that. And listen, regardless of what you think, we're going to get open sooner. Because you know what? Nobody's going to allow this to happen anymore. Nobody's going to be stuck to wearing masks for the next year. No, we're not waiting for no stupid vaccine because they never got one for HIV. They never got one for SARS. They never got one for H1N1. They never got one for whatever. They're not going to do that. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't want one. The point is, there is control. There is power that's being looked for. That's one thing. But then the other thing is, you got to say to yourself, well, we can't get away from the fact we're locked down. We can't get away from everything being locked down. Like, we're in a tough part, right? What are we going to do? You know what I mean? It sucks. We're all in a tough spot here, man. And then we have to be subjected to bullshit at home, which makes it worse to be confined. Because we're not only stuck at home, we're being reminded we're being at home. We don't need that. We don't need doom and gloom. It's like TV is evil. And then wrestling Twitter. You know, it's funny that wrestling Twitter actually acts the same. They just act like they always do, don't they? They just do what they always do. It doesn't change. And actually, I almost give wrestling Twitter credit because everybody still acts like they normally do. Same, no constructive criticism. It's all criticism, period. Criticism 24/7. And it wouldn't make a difference, right? But that's what they're doing. So what are you going to do, right? I mean, it's what it is. I think it's funny. I'm amused. And actually, that's what's been fueling my content as of late. All the YouTube content I've been doing, it's because of the fact that I've been bashing all this right here. Because it's been stupid. We've been going through so much bullshit here that, I mean, wrestling, as I said from the beginning, it's my solace. It's my escape. When I had the movies to go ahead and hey, give me an escape, a release, a suspension of disbelief, I only got wrestling now. And for the most part, wrestling's done it for me. We're going to talk about what they've been doing leading up to Money in the Bank. And, I didn't get a chance to talk to Impact Wrestling for Rebellion because I'm still a few weeks behind, but I caught up on 3 weeks worth of wrestling, 3 weeks worth of shows last week. And I got some more to go and catch up on. And then I need to go and, catch up on the way to Rebellion because I want to catch up with that. But I know that certain things happened last night. So we'll talk about that soon enough. But there's that. Double or Nothing's still going to keep happening. We're going to talk about that. So shows are still going to keep going on anyway, which is good. I appreciate all that. Again, wrestling continues on. We heard about Ring of Honor, MLW looking to bring their content back. And, we continue. Wrestling moves along. We got new feuds. We got new matches. We have people, debuting. Karrion Kross. Or they still kept the cross with a K. I'll give them that. New member of the Dark Order's coming in. We're going to get a few other things. I'm like, okay, good. I appreciate that. Braun Strowman against Bray Wyatt. Yeah, they're starting that feud pretty early and pretty prematurely quick, but this is what WWE does. This is normal. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. It's fine. Drew McIntyre's been booked tremendously well. I give him that. And then I look at we'll talk about that in a minute. Another pretty innovative, inventive idea by the folks at WWE by doing Titan Towers as the site for the Money in the Bank ladder matches for both. I actually think that's pretty damn funny. The climbing the corporate ladder. I think you might not like it, but I think it's hilarious. I think it's very amusing. And I'm looking forward to it. I like that. I like the whole idea that they're putting together. So anyway, before we move along, I am working on the new website. So like I said, eventually the Wrestling Goes Real website will come back. I'm just waiting for my webmaster to kind of help me out with that and finish things up so that I can get that back up and going again. But everything else is back to normal. Like my King of Podcast site now is my portfolio. So if you saw that, you've been to the website, you'll see I made that change. You'll still see the Wrestling Goes Real link there, the links to some other projects. You can click through that, go right to the Wrestling Goes Real channel. Goes to the Spreaker feed for right now, so it will at least take you to the website so you can actually go ahead and listen to the show and grab it and listen to it and all that good stuff. So I got that for you right there. But again, the show doesn't go away. It's continuing on through all the platforms: Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. It's all there still. That doesn't stop. Nothing's changed there. I'll see if I get the website back. It's there. I just got to get it back and update it, and then I'll be good to go. But I'm waiting for my webmaster to go and take care of me with that. My host. He just needs to transfer sites, and I have to wait on him because he's on his server, so he has to make time for it out of his regular busy day. So I'll get that up soon enough. Meantime, I could use some help. Like I said, I'm trying to go ahead and replenish the income that I am losing because of this confinement. And I'd like to also be able to go and put some money down to help other people out, which I am trying to do in a charitable sense. Be a little philanthropic as I can with what little I can do. And again, in this time, I hope that one thing that we got to make mention of, which I will say, listen, I understand people are doing more deliveries, more bring it to home, right? Take home stuff. That's fine. If we have more of that going on, I don't mind it so much. That's okay. I mean, Amazon is still a place to go buy, and it's important, and that's good. But also for me, most importantly, is that I want to be able to go ahead and hopefully make some money off of it. So I'm trying, But what I could really use some help with is for you to go to my special page, my special link for Amazon so that I can get some money coming back in and really take care of some of the bills. And that's kingofamazon.com. Again, kingofamazon.com. That's the place where you go. All you're doing is buying from Amazon. So if you got to buy a new Audible account, get some books. I've been reading the book 5 Families. I've been enjoying it immensely. And I've done some other stuff. I have my Amazon Prime account. By the way, Amazon Prime is massive. Get yourself a Fire Stick if you don't have one. And I'm telling you, Amazon Fire, to be able to watch all the different apps. Like I got Netflix up where I want to watch whenever I want. I got Amazon Prime. And Amazon Prime, great movies. Lots of TV shows, especially a lot of their own TV shows. My parents are right now watching Bosch. They just finished watching Goliath. They love those shows. Billy Bob Thornton and Titus Welliver. My brother's really big right now into, he's been watching a lot of different shows. Like, again, The Heist Castle. And, there's just good shows. Jack Ryan. And then also remember, a lot of movies. If you want to go ahead and go there and you want to go order movies, you can do that right now. Any new movies that are coming out, you can find it through Amazon Prime. But again, they're just as good as Netflix. They got so much content to watch. So many movies. Lots of movies. And it looks so good. 4K, 1080 HP, whatever this and that. It looks awesome. It's badass. And they're just doing really good stuff. I really do love all that they're doing. So with that said, Amazon is where to go. I go there to go buy all my stuff. I'm always buying products, bulk. I buy gum and Tic Tacs, and most recently I just bought a new weight scale underneath for the house. I also have my Amazon rewards account so that I can just use money that I have in the account and just put away. And by the way, buy Amazon gift cards. One of the best presents you can buy. And you know what you do? You tell them, use kingofamazon.com to get people there to go ahead and buy. That'd be really helpful. So I hope you'll consider that. Again, kingofamazon.com. Kingofamazon.com. That'll be the best way to help out the program. I hope you'll consider it. And also, if you want to not do that, you want to just do a little donation because you like what I'm doing here, then by all means, I have a Cash App. I have a PayPal. Cash App is at King of All Podcasts. And my PayPal is King of Podcasts. So if you consider, feel free to go and do so over there. And all my stuff that's going on, everything I'm doing, everything I'm working on, social media links to all the different projects I'm working on, my full-time work, all the podcasts that I do on a regular basis, kingofpodcasts.com. It's all there. So go and check it out for yourselves. So there are some things that are being said that people are really being miffed about. Talking about what they're talking about when it comes to all the issues that WWE did last week. A lot of people have been making statements. People are really interested in learning about why isn't a Drake Maverick still wrestling and how he's still being part of the Cruiserweight tournament after all said and done. We know there was a story out there that somebody decided to talk to the press and say that they were being forced to work and this and that, but nobody will say who it is. It's an anonymous source. So again, I have to assume it's fake news. If somebody can't come out and actually say who it is and they cannot be outed, well, then there's a problem there, right? Also see that Robert Gronkowski, so I guess he's done with WWE because he has signed a deal to return to football. He is now, in return for a 4th-round draft pick for the Patriots, Robert Gronkowski will be playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers alongside Tom Brady. And as you might know, I'm a Buccaneers fan through and through, 25-plus years following the team. As of today, it is the 25th anniversary of the 95 NFL draft where Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp were drafted. And actually the year before is when I started going for the team, when I saw Craig Erickson get drafted that year. And then I just started seeing the tide starting to turn. And I'm always a big underdog guy. So that's why you always see me kind of always rooting for the other companies besides the major leagues, WWE, because that's just how I feel about it. Now, there's some other things being talked about. We could also just jump on. Nia Jax totally botched a move on Kairi Sane on Monday night. Buckle bomb, botch badly. I mean, she keeps making mistakes. She keeps hurting people. Something's got to be said about that. Now, Nia Jax, listen, I like her, but yeah, she is not safe in the ring. I'm going to say that now, and there's a big problem there. That's got to get fixed. So again, let me get back to that source that talked about how the coronavirus was put into place. Let's talk about it. So there was an employee supposedly said that went by the name John, said that people were being forced to work during the coronavirus pandemic. Well, WrestleVotes says that a WWE source was disputing the story that came out. This is from yesterday, as I record Wednesday night. So an Orange County official said he received a letter allegedly from an employee using the name John as an alias, stating that the state wanted to shut down the performance shows, the shows at the performance center because people were being forced to work in conditions that do not allow for social distancing. But WrestleVotes, citing a direct source in the know, said that they received the following quote: "They have not forced anyone to work during this time," end quote. And that WWE has in fact told people that they do not have to go to work. However, there are wrestlers and employees who feel pressure to continue working because they do not feel then the feeling that they open themselves to being released during a time when the WWE has been cutting costs. Well, that doesn't mean they're being forced, is it? That just means the Jedi mind trick that Vince McMahon has on all those wrestlers. That's all there is to it, right? And that makes sense to me. So again, we don't know who it was that said it. They don't want to say it. And it's just being put out there and unsubstantiated because, again, I think it'll be pretty messed up if they did do that. So as we heard, the Money That Make Ladder matches will be held on the roof of WWE's corporate headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. So the wrestlers will begin on the ground floor of the headquarters, and they must make it to the roof and grab the briefcase to win the matches. It's been reported the main show will not take place at the Performance Center. From what we've been hearing, actually, is that the entire pay-per-view was done at corporate headquarters. All of it. So I don't know what all is going to happen, but we'll find out soon enough. At the moment, matches we already have on the card. For the WWE title, Drew McIntyre will defend against Seth Rollins. Bray Wyatt will defend the Universal title against Braun Strowman. Sorry, Braun Strowman. Who put this on here? Wrestling News. You put it in wrong. Braun Strowman is champion. Braun Strowman defends the Universal title against Bray Wyatt. I guess they might be suspecting something. At the moment, Daniel Bryan, Aleister Black, Apollo Crews, Rey Mysterio have all qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. 2 more names yet to be announced or yet to win their matches. The Money in the Bank ladder match for the women is Nia Jax, Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Dana Brooke, and 2 other names yet to qualify yet, which I guess those are matches that are coming up on SmackDown. Bayley will defend the SmackDown Women's title against Tamina. And there we go. As we said before, Double or Nothing is going to continue. Some people can say about the fact that, Dynamite's now beating NXT in the ratings the last 2 weeks. Okay. But when you look at the video on demand numbers, DDR numbers, it still stays about the same where AEW is ahead. But, everybody's kind of nitpicking over that. I think that's been kind of funny. MJF is out with a life-threatening hangnail injury, which whatever that is. But again, playing along with the gimmick. As we said, there won't be crowds for some of these events, but we are going to have matches. Apparently, UFC 249 is going to happen in Florida, but the venue has not been determined. We mentioned that Money in the Bank will be coming up May 10th, and that will be in Stamford, Connecticut, WWE headquarters. AEW Double or Nothing, we have not heard anything yet. Obviously, Grand Garden Arena is not going to be available, so that's not happening. So they're going to tape it somewhere, and I don't know where that's going to be. Maybe it'll be in Florida, but we don't know yet. Matches yet to be announced. So they haven't done anything with that yet. Keep that in mind. We know that the TNT Championship Tournament will probably have the finals at that point, and then we'll see other matches are being put together. Maybe Blood and Guts is brought that night. We don't know yet. They actually really haven't made much about Double or Nothing yet, and it's 4 weeks away. So it is time for us to see what they're going to do. But they focus on the TNT Championship Tournament because that's been their focus right now, and that's what they're going to do. Okay. I'm going to leave it there because there's not much else to be said that I haven't already said tonight. It's been a quiet news week in wrestling, so at this point, I think it's where I want to go and leave things at. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll keep an eye on what's going to be done in terms of building up for feuds and all. I want to see what's going to come on with that and see where we go with things. But like I said, wrestling has still been my vestige. It's been my escape, and I really appreciate having this after all. That said, we're going to leave things here. Come back next week for another Wrestling Is Real podcast. By the way, check out my YouTube page because I am doing a lot of stuff over there. youtube.com/JBRASCO951. Doing all that good stuff over there. You can see all the rebroadcasts of the Wrestling Is Real podcast are there. All my other podcasts and so much more. Until next week, come back for another Wrestling Is Real podcast because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling Is Real podcast, brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. For more information on how to subscribe to the show, how to share the Wrestling Is Real podcast to listeners like you, and check out the latest wrestling headlines, go to WrestlingIsReal.com. That's WrestlingIsReal.com.